Hi, welcome to this episode of Your Black World News. I'm your host, Roosevelt Mitchell III. Today I'm joined by Miss Angela Beasley, who is the CEO of Excitement Radio. How's it going today, Angela?
It is great. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for taking time out your busy day to speak with me real briefly about Philadelphia rapper Meek Mill. Over this past week, there's been numerous articles and reports, according to TMZ, that he broke down crying on the stand about violating his probation for failing a drug test and also leaving without permission. He said to the judge as he pleaded with tears in his eyes, I am not a gangster. I'm not a criminal. I have my queen, Nicki Minaj, now. I'm trying to do better and feel like I can be the best rapper out there. So, knowing the hip hop industry and knowing the legal system, I just wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, first of all, you and I have a little situation with Drake and Meek Mill. When they came out with the beef, you were kind of on Drake's side and I'm on Meek Mill's side. Meek
Yes,
Mill,
ma'am.
this is like a personal thing. Meek Mill is one of my favorite rappers. Um, I love his passion and I love his music. And I also love the fact that I've been following him since he started, or as far as I know, that he's become, before he became really popular. And I listened to his songs and I've watched his dreams come true. And I remember when he said that he was going to get Nicki Minaj. And then when he got her and they got together, I thought it was just such a beautiful thing with the two of them both living out their dreams. And I think it's a cute couple. Um, and I like the fact that she has his back.
Yeah, she even took the
And I
stand for
don't,
him.
yeah, like she got her man's back. That's cool. With him crying, I mean, me, he's a little, he has his histrionics. He's a big baby. He seems like he's a big baby in a way. He's a grown man, but he's throwing his fit. I would be throwing a fit too if I was going to prison. But at the same time, he's not stupid. So I wonder why he's continuing to violate his probation. And then I'm reading that, oh, because he'll be missing out on money. I mean, you know, how much money do you need?
Right, I
If
mean,
you miss, if you're doing, and what I believe from what I read and what I know, when you're on probation, you can go, or even when you're on house arrest, depending on the limitations of your house arrest, you can go certain places, but it has to be planned or you have to have permission first. So a lot of times shows will just come up and there'll be last minute shows. Well, you're on probation. You can't go. So that means you don't go. And then if you're going to go violate your probation, like I don't agree with the system, you don't agree with the system. I don't like what they're doing to black people. And yes, for all the haters out there that are going to say I'm a half breed, yes, I am a half breed and I'm very proud of it because the reason I'm proud of it is because it gives me the ability to see the racism and the nasty sides of everybody from white people to black people. I get to hear it all. But yeah, enough about that. He knows he's under the system right now. Why would he violate his probation? Like they're going to lock you up eventually because they're going to want to make a what do they call it? An example out of you. You know you're not supposed to go do this show. Don't go do the show. Like this weekend, don't throw $30,000 up in the air at KOD. Chill, stay home, do what you need to do. I don't know. Wait till the next show. I don't understand that. Now him crying, um, I mean he's crying because he's not getting his way and he wants to get his way and then he doesn't want to go to jail. Who wants to go to jail?
yeah, who wants to go to jail? Correct. But the issue here for me is, well, first off,
Yeah, let me know how you feel about it.
I feel sorry for the kid. I feel sorry for any black man who go inside a courtroom and cry in front of those people and think they're gonna show them any mercy. No, that's not gonna help your cause. So you might as well be a OJ Simpson and just sit there and just draw a doodle or whatever OJ was doing and let the chips fall where they may because that's how it's going to happen. So him bringing Nicki Minaj in on the stand, on the stand to testify, family and friends. At the end of the day, Homeboy, you drop dirty, stop doing drugs, right? And you on probation, so you got to follow those rules. Another Philly rapper who I like more than Meek Mill, Benny Siegel, when he was on house arrest, he missed a show, I think, for $900,000. He went in the courtroom crying about it. It is what it is. Right. I love Benny Siegel. So it is what it is. So I feel sorry for him in that sense because he don't understand how society works and how society views him. Yes, you're successful. Yes, you can be better to your family being freed and being locked up. But don't nobody care about that but you. The court system don't care about that. They going to make an example out of you because you are you. So when you hit a higher plateau, you have to understand that. And he doesn't understand that. They don't care that you date Nicki Minaj and all. They don't go. They can care less about that. At the end of the day, you are a lot richer than the people who are determining your fate, and that makes them feel some type of way. So I feel sorry in that aspect of him. But I'll say this too. I think this is a story worth talking about because children need to know that these guys rap on records and say all these things, but they are just entertainers. And for him to cry and say, I'm not gangster, kids need to hear that aspect or that part about it and not just him on Rick Ross records or him and Nicki Minaj rapping where he just tough as nails and he committing 4 and 5 felonies in one verse and still going home and what I'm saying, because that's not reality. But kids would think that because they don't know any better. So for him to say that and for these to be in the headlines, for this to be in the headlines, I think is a teaching point for the younger generation, specifically children.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It is a good point to look at because they a lot of rappers do give the or do give off the perception that you are invincible and you can go do all these things and nothing is going to happen to you. Well, something will happen to you, and if the system can get a hold of your ass, especially your black ass, then they're going to do what they will with you. And especially if they see you happy and they see you productive and they see you doing things, and you rising to the top, there's always going to be people trying to bring you down. And yeah, you're absolutely right. And these children do, need to heed that warning and see that he is just an entertainer, which, I mean, not just an entertainer, I hate to say that, right. But because, all these entertainers too, a lot of people don't know they have fought long and hard for these dreams to come true. Meek Mill's, father was killed trying to rob a bank. I believe his mother died when they were young, and they came out of a hell. They came out of poverty. It was hard for him to survive. So
right, and he's been in jail before, right? So you would think
he's been in jail before.
You would think that he would have learned this lesson the other time. Like, okay, now I've hit this point in my life to where things are going great. Let me ease back on the drugs and get off papers first before I just indulge back in these things. But when you make those conscious decisions to live that lifestyle, but then too, my favorite book says, faith is in the hearing. Faith is in the hearing. So when you rapping and singing about these detrimental things, not only to yourself, but to other people about getting high or drinking all the time, doing those things, then eventually you believe that, right? It's in your subconscious. Right. So exactly. So he can't separate, right, this gangster mentality that he has or portrayed, from his self, right? So I mean, and then that leaves him in a vulnerable position.
It's funny, and I just want to, and I know I'm kind of interrupting you, but I just want to say this. Everybody's glorifying drugs now, and oh yeah, marijuana is legal, and I don't know what the hell he pissed dirty or what the case may be, but even though everyone thinks it's cool to get high and all that, it's still being used as a tool to lock people up.
It's a huge tool to lock people up, especially people on papers and things as such. But if you look down the line at the successful rappers who've had a longevity in the game, the rap game, and who hasn't been to jail, those people don't use drugs. Like Jay-Z, for a long time he said, man, I can count on one hand the number of times that I have smoked weed. And he said the last time I smoked, it was shooting a video with Biggie. So that's how long ago that was. So with him or even a Drake or all these other guys who don't do heavy drugs, but even with Lil Wayne, he's been to prison. So this whole drugs and really rapping about all those things. And also, I'm seeing younger guys that when I was growing up, who was very little, they walking around. Well, they putting it on social media with a Sprite bottle and cough syrup, like it's cool. I said, oh my gosh, when did they start doing this?
Oh, they've been doing that. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're, and this is how I broke it down to someone who, or people I know who do use drugs, and I've used drugs as well. If you're at 100% when you're on drugs, another person's 100%, then that means if you're off drugs, you could be at another person's 200%, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
So if something is altering your mind, if something is slowing you down, speeding you up, or anything like that, it is affecting you. You can call it what you want. And then, people like to come up with the old argument about this and that being a plant. Everything is a goddamn plant. Like everything, coke came from a plant, heroin came from a plant. It all came from a plant, and
right, and
it is what it is. I mean, we could argue about this all day long. It's a plant. It's natural. A lot of things are natural. That don't mean you need to be doing it.
Right, exactly. Like, I remember being in college and some of the wannabe rappers, they had their dorm room set up with like an entire booth, right, with with a mic and a screen in front of it and all the equipment, and they used to get high before that. I used to say, man, why you get high before you rap? Man, because that's the only way I can rap. I rap a lot better. I said, you can't rap a lot better when your mind is not clear. See, that weed just make you think that, but really in reality,
perception that you're doing it better.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, Meek Mill is not a stupid person, and Nicki Minaj, I believe she's brilliant. And
I think the story, was a major teaching point to younger kids that these guys are just rapping, and there are consequences to your actions, even when you are a millionaire or you have a lot of money. You can't just buy your way out of things.
Right, because they will lock your ass up.
And take your money. Right.
And take your money. And then the problem with that is, when they lock your ass up, you could encounter a whole bunch of other problems that may lead to you being locked up longer. You may get yourself in some kind of situation in prison or in jail that could totally destroy your whole entire career.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I thank you so much for your time and for this conversation. And again, I just really want kids to understand that music is just entertainment, and major corporations pay these guys millions of dollars to brainwash kids into thinking that it's cool to be a gangster, that it's cool to drink, get high all the time, and break the law, when there are consequences to those actions, as we see in this point. So I hope Nicki Minaj is waiting on him when he get out. But until next time, friends, be blessed and be encouraged.